I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas.
Hello everyone, Uncle Charles Walhingford back again with another YouTube video dealing with your image, your style, your look, and fashion. And the big thing I want to talk about with image, style, and fashion, it comes out in different ways. And my big thing, or the thing I really want to put out for these videos, is the fact that you have to be well balanced. And what I noticed is a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers and everything else, I would guess you would call them the fragrance community, are off balance. And I want you to understand where the off balance comes from. And I don't want you to get caught up in the off balance. What am I getting at? Guys, I'll tell you right now, for me, I got caught up in it. I myself have purchased too many fragrances. I would say at this point, I have too many. And what does too many really mean? We'll get to that in a second, but you can easily get addicted to buying these fragrances for one reason or another. And people are buying too much. Let me give you this analogy. Let me put this forth to you and understand where I'm coming from. If you have a sundae, an ice cream sundae, what do we think? We think of hot fudge, caramel, or maybe strawberry over top ice cream. We think about that, and then when we really want to make that ice cream, that particular sundae nicer, we finish with some nuts, whipped cream, and a cherry on top. Now you can go a little bit overboard. You can go well overboard, like maybe cookie sundaes, fresh cookie sundaes, hot brownie sundaes, and things like that. They're really good, but the basis for a sundae absolutely is the ice cream. And then the second thing I would say is the fudge, the caramel, or the strawberry, or if you most likely you're mixing all those things together. But it is not the whipped cream, the nuts, and the cherry on top. You get rid of the cherry or the whipped cream, even the nuts too, you still have a sundae. And that's what fragrance is. Fragrance is the cherry on top. It's the whipped cream. It's the finishing. It's the finishing. It's an accessory. However, people are putting that ahead of everything else. They're putting the carriage before the horse. When you spend too much money on your fragrances, you put the horse behind the carriage before the horse. And like I said, it's very easy to do. It is not hard to really get addicted to buying the fragrances, especially when you get into it. You try to find a deal. You're trying to find a fragrance nobody else has and everything else. But it is not really meant to be that way. I really like fragrances. I really like the point of the fragrance. The point of the fragrance is everything I'm talking about is the full-on image. The full-on image is what I really get at. It's not just about having a nice suit on. It's having the accoutrement that goes with the suit. Doing it right, meaning if you're going to wear a suit, you better have the right shoes on. If you're going to have the right shoes on, you got to have the right belt on. You got to have the right belt on. You should have a watch. You should have a bracelet. You should have the right tie or the right tie clasp, collar pin, tie pin, all those things. That's what makes a suit good. That's what makes a suit complete. When people say, oh, he looks really good in that suit, it's not just a suit. It is absolutely not just a suit. And what makes the suit complete, one of the things could be your fragrance. But that's what makes the suit complete, not all the other things. So what I like about fragrances, what I was alluding to, what I like about fragrances is it is the final nuts and whipped cream on top, the cherry on top of the outfit. But the big thing about the element that it brings is it is what allows people to want to be around you. When you have a really good fragrance, people want to stay around you. People find it very maybe comforting or maybe inviting that you smell that way and you're acting that way or presenting that way, excuse me. And you have them for different situations. You have a fragrance for your cooler weather. You have fragrance for the office or the workspace. You have fragrance for the summer. Maybe you start expanding and you have, okay, this is your go-to fragrance for the ladies. The ladies like this, or the wife likes this one. Meaning maybe that's the date night fragrance. But once you start expanding past that, then you get specialized. That's what's supposed to happen. If you're thinking of the most practical sense of why you're wearing these things, it's about the specialized situation. Okay, this is more so spring, this is more so fall, not as much as winter. Or this is not the right situation for a parent teacher conference, even though this is more of a business sense scent, right? You start getting into that. But when you start expanding past really 10, you're not going to get the use and wear out of those fragrances. And fragrances can lose their power. They can lose their strength. And that's the worst thing that can happen is you have a fragrance that you don't wear a lot. It doesn't smell as good as it used to. And it's almost a waste of money. And a lot of times it will be a waste of money. If you look at a lot of those YouTubers, the top YouTubers, they'll have like 50, 100, or even more fragrances behind them. They have flanker upon flanker. They'll have variation upon variation. They'll have all kinds of different bottles, and it looks really good on camera. It looks really good on camera. Part of the reason why I did this, to bring some validity to the situation. However, it gets kind of weird. Like, do you really have 50, 75, 100 different situations where you need that many fragrances? Now, I understand part of the initial journey, you're going to find fragrances you don't like. You're going to find fragrances that didn't perform as well as you would like to, even though they smelled really nice, and so on and so forth. But when is it too much? When is it too much? And that's this video is all about when it gets to too much. Because here's my thing. So you have 50 different fragrances or more, 20 different fragrances or more. Don't you have a favorite fragrance? Don't you have a fragrance you wear more than anything else? And on top of that, where do you go where you wear a fragrance every single day? If you have 20 different fragrances, there's no way you're going through a bottle in a year. You're spreading it out, right? But if you're not spreading it out, then what are you doing? You're wasting money. And what could you be doing? You could be doing something. What I'm really getting at is expanding your full-on look. Because see, what I've seen with a lot of the YouTubers that are on here, a lot of these influencers and such on other platforms, they dress like bums. Now they're not dressed in wholly dirty clothes, but they're dressed in just a t-shirt. They're rarely wearing a suit. They're rarely putting together a nice ensemble. Again, this is the final. This is the finish. This is the cherry on top. Why do you have 50 different fragrances and your shirt you're just wearing a t-shirt? And again, if you don't have the outfits, you don't have the ensembles, you don't have a suit, you don't have a sport coat, you don't have black dress shoes, brown dress shoes. You do not need to buy anything past 5. I'm saying 5 fragrances. Now, once you start accumulating these things and you're accumulating situations, yes, you should buy more, but you need to stop at a certain time. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about what we can do. Now, here's the thing. If you're not familiar with me, this is your first video experiencing what I bring to the table. I will always tell you an answer. I would always give you an antidote. I will always give you something you can do to fix the problem. I give answers. At my end, I always say, I'm here to help. And that's what I am. I'm here to help. So where are the answers? What are the answers? What are the tactics or what have you? All right, first of all, when you're purchasing, blind buys. Blind buys should be absolutely rare and maybe 1% of the time. Meaning 1% is very low if you are trying to stay under, I've got my screen here, if you're trying to stay under a certain number. So that is one of the biggest things. Blind buys, I would even say, because I've done it before, and I'm about 50%. 50% is a very bad ratio. I would say blind buys, don't do them. Now, buying discovery sets, that's what you should go with. Buying, getting samples, maybe some free samples, yeah, absolutely. But don't buy the whole bottle, even the small bottle. It may not be worth it because you just got stuff just sitting there. So I would say make sure you know what you're experiencing. I know in the first days and the first couple bottles of fragrance, you're trying to learn what you like and everything else, but blind buying, I would highly, highly not recommend. Now, one of the things I would recommend that I should probably should have said first was how many should you actually have? All right, so first of all, if you have more than 20, I keep saying 20, if you have more than 20, you have too much. So by the time you stop, don't buy any more. Stop, don't buy any more. Either get rid of a few, but don't buy any more till you have to replace your 10th bottle. So your 10th bottle of your favorite, then replace that with either the same thing or another fragrance, try another fragrance, but 10 is the number. 10 is a lot. That's the thing. 10 is a lot and tends to reflect the other things that you do. You have quite a few pairs of shoes. You have a few suits. You have quite a few watches. You're just a complete, you look like you should be in the Rake magazine. You should be in GQ magazine. You should be in Vanity Fair magazine. Yeah, then yeah, still 10. If that's not the case, you have too many. Whittle it down. Stop buying so many. Okay, you bought too many. Now, here's a great tactic, especially if you do. Here's your 1% time or the 10% time where you do buy. You may want to buy a blind buy. Is when you are considering buying a flanker of something that you already like, or maybe it's a brand that you have bought multiple already. It's a good example. Habibi New York. I have 3 Habibi New York fragrances. I wouldn't feel weird about doing a blind buy if I have 3 already. I bought 3 already and I like them a lot. The same thing with Victor and Rolf. I got the Spice Bomb Extreme and the Spice Bomb Night Vision here. And even better, I have I think this is Bon Bon. Yeah, it's Bon Bon and Flower Bomb from my wife. So Victor and Rolf is something that just really hits with my wife and I. But guys, better presentation, and put the horse in front of the carriage, not the carriage in front of the horse. Buy some better ice cream before you spend all your money on the whipped cream and nuts, if you know what I'm talking about. All right, guys, that's the video for now. Hope I made a compelling argument to you. I hope you would take heed this information or help your friend. Maybe you have to do an intervention like, hey, you have too many perfume, fragrances, colognes. It's way too many. I gotta help you. And I got this from this guy named Uncle Charles Walhingford. And Uncle Charles Walhingford is just here to help.